Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Church of Edmonton. My name is Karen Mills and I will be your service leader this morning, along with the service provided by our Right Relations team. Today the Right Relations team are here to share thoughts and ideas with you as they promote healthy relations and address conflict in healthy ways. And we'll just have everybody come in and have a seat, please. We are started and we'll just get settled. Welcome to everyone joining us online. We're happy to have you on this really gorgeous spring day. Hopefully everybody has a chance to get out and enjoy some of that sunshine this afternoon. And before we start our service, I would like to acknowledge the land that we are on. And this morning I wanted to share with you a land acknowledgement that I heard at a city event that I was at recently, and I really liked the wording, and so want to share that with you. It explains that the lands on which Edmonton sits and the North Saskatchewan River that runs through it have been the sites of natural abundance, ceremony and culture, travel and rest, relationship building, making and trading for Indigenous peoples since time immemorial. Edmonton is located within Treaty 6 territory and within the Métis homelands and Métis Nation of Alberta Region 4. We acknowledge this land as the traditional territories of many First Nations, such as the Cree, Dene, Stoney, Saulteaux, and Blackfoot. The City of Edmonton owes its strength and vibrancy to these lands and the diverse Indigenous peoples whose ancestors' footsteps have marked this territory, as well as settlers from around the world who continue to be welcomed here and call Edmonton home. Together, we call upon all our collective honored traditions and spirits to work in building a great city for today and future generations. I would invite Declan and Pauline to come forward now because they have announcements.
Good morning. As the half of the cinephile duo group, I am here to remind you that this Friday will be the showing of the movie I Saw the TV Glow. In fact, please make a reminder for yourself that on the last Friday of every month, there will be a movie shown here. It is free and there is just a lot of fun in being together and watching the sanctuary be transformed into kind of a movie theater. See you Friday.
Declan, would I be right in guessing your announcement was the same announcement? It was, so that makes it twice as important. And I have been lucky enough to come to a couple of the movie nights, and they're really great. The movies that they pick are fabulous, and what's even better is great discussion after them to talk about what you saw and what you thought about it. And it's so interesting to hear everybody's different perception when you've all seen the same movie and talk about that. So if you can make it, I highly encourage you to do that. And there's always usually pretty good snacks too. All right, to start us off on our service, I would invite Louise and Carol forward to kindle our chalice.
Beloved is where we begin. If you would enter into the wilderness, do not begin without a blessing. Do not leave without hearing who you are, beloved, named by the one who has traveled this path before you. Do not go without letting it echo in your ears, and if you find it is hard to let it into your heart, do not despair. That is what this journey is for. I cannot promise this blessing will free you from danger, from fear, from hunger or thirst, from the scorching of sun or the fall of the night. But I can tell you that on this path there will be help. I can tell you that on this way there will be rest. I can tell you that you will know the strange graces that come to our aid only on a road such as this, that fly to meet us, bearing comfort and strength, that come alongside us for no other cause than to lean themselves toward our ear and with their curious insistence whisper our name, beloved, beloved, beloved. And now we will have a prelude with Gordon Ritchie.
Thank you, Gordon. That piece was called A Beautiful Distraction, and it was definitely beautiful. Now I'd like to invite you to come sing a song with me, literally. So it's on the screen behind me. It's number 346 in the hardcover hymnal. If you're following along at home, please rise as you are willing and able and sing lustily.
And
month in our church, we always celebrate a spirit of generosity and giving, but we highlight it a bit more heavily in March. And as we're preparing the budgets to come to our annual general meeting for congregational approval in May. And so this morning I'd invite Lynn Turvey forward to share some of her thoughts on Canvas.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lynn Turvey. My pronouns are she, her, and I am your UCE president this year. And I do want to share some thoughts about Canvas. This is a very important time in the life of the Unitarian Church of Edmonton. Alberta, Canada, in fact, the world, are facing tremendous pressures of change. The political, economic, and social tumult is very unsettling for many of us, even scary. But we have this spiritual community to help us weather the storm. Now is a time to think about those who have not yet found us, who have not experienced a welcoming spiritual home. We all have a role to play in keeping alive this vibrant, self-sustaining church, and in getting out our message of principled religious pluralism. There are many others who need us. But, of course, my friends, it does take money and an ongoing commitment to keeping the doors open, literally and figuratively. John and I pledge annually, and the board is urging everyone to do the same. I understand from our Canvas calculators that pledges are coming in a little bit more slowly than usual at this time of year. So if you have not yet filled out a pledge form, please do so before the end of the month with whatever you can afford. There are pledge forms here in the church. You can find them on their website, online. So please do so, and again, with whatever you can afford. It's very important for the treasurer and our board to see what money we have to work with in the coming year, church year. Let's pledge now for the future of all of us and for those who are still searching for a sanctuary like this. And I do thank you for your kind hearts and your generosity.
Our giving does go beyond the walls of this building as well in different ways. We host different community groups through this building. We offer free or reduced rentals for groups that are doing work that is vital to keeping our community healthy. And each week we also take half of the unidentified pledges and donate them to a charity of the month. And so as our collection is being taken, I will invite you to, look at the slide that's going to be there any second, which shares that our charity this month is WINGS, Women in Need Growing Stronger. This is a group who are very much boots on the ground, doing the day-to-day work of helping support women who have had trauma, who have had challenge, who have faced abuse and possibly even homelessness in their lives. And they provide caring support to get them feeling welcomed, confident, able, and back to the life that they want to lead. So for those who are online, you can donate directly through the WINGS website. For those who are in the sanctuary this morning, half of the identified contribution will be sent to them on your behalf. And as our offering is brought forward, we've switched things up a little bit for Canvas Month. We have a new collection song, Just One Step. So we'll bring those words up. No slide. Oh. All right. Just one step. We will take just one step. Hey, you have had your coffee this morning. Awesome. Thank you. All right, now we may actually ask a couple volunteers to hand out the teal hymnals, since we're slideless. Oh, never mind. But if you happen to want to look at the hymnal, it's number 1008. But let us sing our good Canadian content from Canadian Vancouver-based writer Joyce Poley, and When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. As I said at the beginning of the service, today's service has been designed by the Right Relations team. They've put a lot of thought and care into how everything fits together and is constructed, and they've also come up with what I hear is going to be a really interesting, fun kind of group activity. That starts now. So I'm going to ask Carol and Lynn to come and introduce that.
Hi, my name's Carol, and I go by the pronoun she and her. The service reflection today relates to conflict. You know the kind. When people are in tension over personality differences, a decision or direction, or a matter of opinion. Lynn and I are going to give you a few of our thoughts, and then we'll break into small groups. And if you feel like it, you can share your experiences of getting to the other side of conflict, what happened and how you felt about it. I hate conflict. I always have. There was no conflict in my family. Well, no overt conflict. Of course, we had our ways, but they weren't necessarily all that healthy. Over the years, I've tried to deal with conflict more effectively, but I'm still not particularly comfortable in dealing with it. I would get that feeling in the pit of my stomach when I didn't agree with something that someone was saying. It's so nice to be with people who agree with you. It's a happy feeling, really. I mentioned this to someone in the church who said, well, no one likes conflict. Who knew? So why is it that we're not comfortable in dealing with conflict? Can we know for sure that if we approach a situation with an open heart and with honesty, that it'll turn out well? No, you actually can't. There's no guarantees. You can get hurt, the person could get angry at you, or it could affect your relationship. But if you're able to deal with conflict in a good and respectful way and get to the other side of it, it can sure strengthen a relationship. I think we feel better about ourselves as well. So it isn't necessarily the absence of conflict that makes a close relationship. Sometimes it's the ability to work through it in a healthy and constructive way. Of course, it's not always wise to deal with conflict. Politics, religion, people on the LRT, not always a good idea to engage at all. And sometimes it's better to just walk away and give yourself a little bit of space, step back and determine when is the time to deal with it and when you can address it most effectively. What I believe is that if a relationship is important, it's a good idea to learn how to get to the other side of conflict in it. Lynn pointed out that conflict doesn't need to be negative. It can be gentle and funny. Conflict doesn't need to be confrontational. I learned over the years how to deal with a close relative of mine. I was quite aghast at some of the things she said about my weight, parenting, those kinds of things. One day I said, I really don't like it when you talk about my weight. And she said, are you serious? And I said, yeah, I really don't like it when you talk about my weight. And she said, I was just joking. And I said, I really don't like it. And she never talked about it again, at least never that issue. At other times, I just started laughing and would say, did you actually just say that to me? And she would laugh too. So once I started clearly addressing my issue, our relationship improved and we had a far better relationship. I still don't like conflict, but I'm working on it. So Lynn is now going to talk about martyrdom averted.
Well, I grew up with a mom who did a lot of martyring. You couldn't have a good conflict with mom. So I was determined, of course, to be different. And then I married Ed, and they had family agreements about the hostings. And we were the ones who had the house, and we were the ones who had kids, so we hosted the family gatherings. There were at least half a dozen a year, one for each of the kids' birthdays, and one for each of the major feast days, Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving. And so we'd host them, and for the birthdays, certainly nobody, his brother and his wife didn't bring a dish, and because they were bringing a present for the kids. So it worked okay for a few years. But then the families grew. Our kids grew up, started inviting partners. They had 3 kids, and they were grown up and eating like adults. So now instead of like 8 or 9 people, there's 20. And there's a lot of work to do and a lot of furniture to move. And my husband was getting sicker, and so I'm doing it all. So I found myself resentful and determined not to be a martyr. I talked to him, and in my view, I wasn't asking his permission. I was telling him what I was going to do. I'm going to talk to your brother and sister. And by this time, for the major feast, they were bringing one dish that was a vegetable dish that would feed about the original size of the group, so feed about half a dozen of us, or 8 or 9 of us. And to add to that, they're vegetarians, so you had to have lots of vegetable dishes. So I said, I'm going to ask them to bring 2 vegetable dishes. Their kids are eating like adults now, and I think that's reasonable. He was appalled and scared, and he thought the conflict had ripped the family apart, and he begged me not to do it, and so whatever, I left it. And then a couple of years went by, and there's more work, and he's helping less. And I was resentful again. So again, I told him that I was going to talk to my sister, brother-in-law. And he said, again, begged me not to, and kind of pathetically said, don't I make enough money? Couldn't you get it catered? And so I tried that, actually, but that was more work than doing the vegetables myself. Then as luck would have it, one day I was in Southgate Mall, and then ran into my sister-in-law before Easter, and she asked me what time the dinner was going to be. And I told her the time, and then I said, oh, by the way, I was wondering if you could bring a second vegetable dish, and explain my rationale that her kids were growing up and eating like adults, and it was a lot of work for me. And to my surprise, but apparently not my husband's, she said no. And then she had a rationale, and so I had to do something with family traditions, and so I tried again. I tried, explaining again. And again, she said no. So I was quite startled, upset. And then, this is where I behaved like a jerk. So I didn't go through the nice steps and all that I would have if I'd done a planned conversation. And I just said, oh, okay, just bring 1 dish, and turned away and went to kind of stomp off, I guess, at least walk quickly away. But she was more mature than I was. And she called me back and talked to me about it some more, and kind of reiterated her explanation. And then she did offer to help me move furniture. And then within a few sentences, we're commiserating on the husbands we'd married. And and then ultimately, she proposed a solution that she would still bring 1 vegetable dish, but it would be big enough to feed the 20. Well, that actually was a great idea, and it's worked well, and it's worked well all these years since. That's what they do. But a side benefit was so wonderful. She obviously told her family, her kids, and her husband about our talk, and the kids showed me appreciation that dinner and all the ones forward. My nephew, who was 14 at the time, you know how demonstrative 14-year-old males are, gave me a big hug and said how much he appreciated me having the family gatherings, because his family only got together at funerals. So with that story of things going awry at first, but turning out well, I'm going to ask you to do the kind of community question format where you turn your chairs, groups of maybe 3 or 4, whatever size you really want. This is, and see if you can find situations where you had a conflict, especially if it went badly at first, that ended up going well. And then we'll come back together. So we'll have about 8 minutes. So, if you liked the service, that's great. And if you tell us you thought it didn't really work, it was awful, well, we win too, because then we know that you're capable of having conflict with us. So it's all good. Okay. All right.
Well, thank you, Right Relations team, for organizing that. I think it's great, because conflict is a tricky subject for just about everyone. And what I noticed just watching the groups is that I saw just about everybody having a chance to talk. And so really having that space open for everyone to share and have a voice. So thank you all for being such natural facilitators. Let's come back together as a group and sing our hymn of the month, Clear Blue Morning. Please stand.
There
I invite Andrea Graham forward to a reading.
Hello, my name is Andrea Graham, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm just finding my page. And this is What Took You So Long by John Roedel. My brain and my heart divorced a decade ago over who was to blame, about how big a mess I have become. Eventually, they couldn't get in the same room, or they wouldn't be in the same room with each other. Now, my head and my heart shared custody of me. I stay with my brain during the week, and my heart gets me on weekends. They never speak to one another. Instead, they give me the same note to pass to each other every week, and in their notes, they say, this is your fault. On Sundays, my heart complains about how my head has let me down in the past. On Wednesday, my head lists all the times my heart screwed things up for me in the future. They blame each other for the state of my life. There's been a lot of yelling and crying. So lately, I've been spending a lot of time with my gut, who serves as my unofficial therapist. Most nights, I sneak out the window of my ribcage and slide down my spine and collapse on my gut's plush leather chair that's always open for me. And I just sit, and sit until the sun comes up. Last evening, my gut asked me if I was having a hard time being caught between my heart and my head. I nodded. I said I didn't know if I could live with either of them anymore. My heart is always sad about something that happened yesterday, while my head is always worried about something that's going to happen tomorrow, I lamented. My gut squeezed my hand. I just can't live with my mistakes of the past or my anxiety about the future, I sighed. My gut smiled and said, in that case, you should go stay with your lungs for a while. I was confused. The look on my face gave it away. If you are exhausted about your heart's obsession with the fixed past and your mind's focus on the uncertain future, your lungs are the perfect place for you. There is no yesterday in your lungs. There is no tomorrow there either. There is only now. There is only inhale. There is only exhale. There is only this moment. There is only breath. And in that breath, you can rest while your heart and your head work out their relationship out. This morning, while my brain was busy reading tea leaves, and while my heart was staring at old photographs, I packed a little bag and walked out the door. I walked to the door of my lungs. Before I could even knock, she opened the door with a great smile, and as a gust of air embraced me, she said, "What took you so long?"
So through our weeks and our days, our heads and our hearts have lots that we carry with them. And part of the way that we reconcile all of those messages and sometimes burdens and sometimes celebrations that we carry is through the lighting of candles. And so I invite you to come forward. There are candle stations on either side if you have something to celebrate, something to commemorate, something that just needs to be marked in a special way for you this week. Please come forward and light a candle now. For those who are online, if you'd like to put something in the chat to share, that would be wonderful. I'm going to invite Louise to light one last candle for those cares and concerns and celebrations that we might hold but just not be ready to publicly share or acknowledge yet. Now I'd like to invite Andrea back up.
It looked too tall. You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we can walk it out. Move mountains, we can walk it out. Move mountains, and I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up high like the waves. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. When the silence isn't quiet and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll bring the world to its knees. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains, and I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other. For that we have each other. And we will rise, we will rise, we will rise. Oh, we'll rise again. And I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up high like the waves. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you.
Thanks, Andrea and Gordon. That was great. I would invite our candle extinguishers to come back, and we're going to do just a little bit of a different ending this week. We're going to extinguish our flame. I'll read some words of benediction. Then we're going to have a video, and following the video, I'll invite you to join hands and sing Carry the Flame. So at this time, please just take a moment to become present, to pause, to check in with yourself, and notice how you are in this moment. Our work here this morning is at an end, and our work has just begun. The work of holding one another and this community in love. The work of trusting that we are on the right path. The work of believing that what connects us is stronger than what separates us. The work of engaging in that which makes us whole. The work of deeper understanding and commitment. The work of radical inclusion. The work of collective liberation. The work of this beloved community. A beloved community of which we are all a part, a place where we are all welcomed, respected, valued, cherished, a place where we all belong. Go in peace, amen, and blessed be. Please enjoy this video. I think you may recognize the song. All right, before you all run out to buy your ukulele, let's stand, please join hands, and we'll sing our closing song, Carry the Flame.